afternoon to all of you. As part of the World Tourism Day, we have got this event. I'll give a brief of the event. The students are supposed to plan two activities. One is to discuss about or present about a destination which is unexplored, and the other one is the various COVID measures or protocol to be followed to promote an existing destinations. Now this activity is divided into house activity where 4 houses are there, and each house has to present on both the events, and we have an observer to evaluate and give them a feedback. Now about the observer, Mr. Sony S, alumni of this institute. He has got lot of achievements. Few of the major achievements I would like to highlight over here. He does editing. He's a content consultant, and he himself is a poet, which he started recently the work, and he has published the book on poetry, which is well appreciated by the reviewers. And now I will like to hand over to Mr. Sony and the students for further activity. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Riya Sunil, and I am a third year student of IHMCT Thiruvananthapuram. Today, on the occasion of World Tourism Day celebrations, I would like to talk to you about an unexplored destination near me. I live in Kannur. Yes, the land of Theyyams and the city of looms and lows. Kannur has many famous tourist destination spots like the Morpalangad beach, the Payambalam beach, the Kannur fort, etc. But many of these destinations go unexplored. Today, I am here to talk about one such destination, Elapediga. Elapediga is a small village near Peravur in the Kannur district. It is situated 1000 meters above the sea level in the Western Ghats mountain ranges and is a hill station. The name Elapediga comes from two words, which Elam, which means cardamom, and Pediga, which means shop. So this suggests that there were many shops selling cardamoms in the older times, which were brought all the way from the Wayanad hills. Yes, this place is etched in history also. This place figures among the main places which witnessed the battle against the Britishers by the king Parashiraja. One can still see the beautiful ruins of the fort Talakal Kota, which was made by Talakal Chatu, the commander-in-chief of the Parashis army. Elapediga has a Roman Catholic church dedicated to Saint Sebastian. This church is the highest church in the Kannur district. How can it not be? Elapediga itself is the highest point in the Kannur district. Elapediga lies in the Western Ghats, away from the march of civilization, with its wild beauty intact. The transportation to Elapediga is by road. The nearest railway station is Kannur railway station and Talasheri railway station. Kannur International Airport is the nearest airport from Elapediga. The highway passes through the Kannur town. Elapediga is said to be a wonderful place for trekking and adventure sports. This place can also turn out to be a great spot for riders who love a rocky adventure. Elapediga is a place you can visit throughout the year. During monsoon, the greenery fills up even more and is a treat to the eye. During summers, you can't feel the heat because it is cool and subtle high up there. The view from the top of the hill is just breathtaking. Elapediga, since it's also a nature-bound place, is best for people who come there to relax from the midweek blues. Towering high, Elapediga is a green hideout where lush hilly stretches are stitched to perfection with grasslands. One can see the entire Kannur district and the Arabian Sea from there. Elapediga in Kannur is indeed an escapist paradise. I would like to conclude by saying this is a wonderful place which was left unexplored. I'm glad I got this opportunity to talk about this place and let people know about this place. Now I would like Lakshman to continue. Thank you.
Hi guys, thank you Ria. Good morning everyone. My name is Marasula Lakshman and I am a third year student of IHMCT Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. On this occasion of World Tourism Day celebration, I would like to talk to you on an unexplored destination near me. Yes, I live in Goa guys. Yes, the city of paradise. Goa is popularly known as the Pearl of Orient and tourist paradise. It is located in the India's coast belt on the western called Konkan coast. It is an alarming scenic beauty. The architecture work done in Goan temples, churches and old houses has brought great laurels to Goa. Some of these characteristics make Goa to be occupied by tourists. It is the most preferred option by the people who are planning their holiday. Goa as compared to other states is not greatly populated, but compared in other terms of tourists, it is the most populated place in India. Apart from attracting tourists from all over the world, it attracts tourists of foreign background during the months of November, December and January. Goa is heavily crowded, literally heavily crowded. The real essence of Goa lies in the rich history, unique culture and the original natural beauty, peaceful Goan lifestyle and the adventure sports. Also draw the attention of travelers within and outside India. All kinds of tourists are expected in Goa visit. Goa is a destination that blankets plenty of adventures, offering a great escape from the bustling and crowded life. Whether you want an adventurous escape or look at fascinating places, here are some unexplored places in Goa. Kakulam Beach, a small paradise. Galibag Beach, a clean destination. Holnut Beach, a picture-perfect destination. Betul Beach, where Quenant lies. Kola Beach, scheduled sands. Velosa Beach, relax with the cool breeze. Arambal Beach, explore and fishing culture. Ashwam Beach, acres of clean sand. Caves from ancient era. Langu Caves and architecture trump. Kutiga Wildlife Sanctuary and many more like Dr. Salah Langley's Wildlife Sanctuary, Chodla Ghats, Savoy Spice Plantation, Cambruja Backwater, Arambol Beach, Kolva Beach and lot more. After all, our topic is unexplored destination near me. And my favorite unexplored destination which stuns every Goan as well as an outsider who comes to Goa is the Sweetwater Lake. The Sweetwater Lake is a freshwater paradise that originates in nature. Hot springs from within the Goan jungle. The lagoon is surrounded by hills of greenery and coconut groves. Enjoy the spiritual atmosphere of area and partake in one of the regular meditation sessions and train your body to the mythical healing clay. Yes, the clay, it heals your body. The lake is officially named Vagalkolam, but Goans and travelers insist on calling it by nicknames. Sweetwater Lake. Dip your feet in the warm, fresh water. Feel the heat of the sand which comes from the hot springs. The clay blocks nearby are said to be contain magical healing properties. As I said, it can heal you. So join to the practice of rubbing the clay on your body in the water. Few minutes walk from the jungle through a narrow jungle road you can find a big old banyan tree where a Baba resides. He welcomes every tourist and he teaches them yoga and sends medicinal plants. And he has the best knowledge of medicinal plants that are grown wild in the lake's jungle. Take part in the meditation sessions with him under the great banyan tree to find the inner peace. Those keen to earn some karma can donate to the money stone with the mantra. The mantra is, give if you can, take if you have to. If you prefer to stay dry, spend some time capturing photos in the reflection of picturesque landscape in the water. A grove of coconut trees and a green and orange shrubbery lie beyond the lake, and nearby are the rolling waves of Arabian Sea. Spot dragonflies zooming across the lake's glistening surface. Order cold drinks with an Indian and international snacks from the few huts of Kalacha Beach. There are more restaurants and cafes nearby Arambal Beach. Make sure take your own sun lotion and water on the journey as some hawkers sell fake products. The Sweetwater Lake can be found by a small stretch of shoreline known as the Kalacha Beach. Due to its scheduled location, the only way to reach the beach is on foot. It's short walk from the north Arambol Beach. A slightly trickier footpath leads to an Quiram Beach as one of the most talked about attraction of the Goan coast. Vagalkolam should not be too hard to find. Just ask for the locals for direction. and about the most talked about the Arambal Sunset Party. Locals and their world were gathered in a circle on the beach to play musical instrument and dance as the sun goes down. Goa's Arambal beach is creating a buzz with visitors from around the world. In and around Arambal village, you can find a popular hippie flea market, yoga classes and tasty vegan restaurant. And every day there's an Arambal beach party as a drum circle gathers to play music, dance, celebrate Goa's spectacular sunsets. I would love to share the location of this beauty with all my friends. It's multi-adventurous place where you can drive first, trek first, swim, do yoga, sunset parties, food. Last but not the least, the taste of the water of Sweetwater Lake, which runs from heart of the Goan Mountains. Truly amazing. Thank you.
COVID has caused an unprecedented crisis for the tourism industry. Before, country borders were sealed, flights were grounded, and even cruise ships were docked in harbors. Hotels and restaurants were also shuttered. Masks and gloves are our new normal. We have a new mantra, and it's social distancing. No one knows when this fury of virus will abate. In the beginning, no one was even thinking of holidays to travel, but presently people are planning for it, considering the safety and taking measures to fight COVID-19. COVID is the biggest challenge the global tourism sector has faced till date. It's said that typically the tourism sector is among the first to be affected and the last to recover during a health crisis. Throughout the pandemic is taking tourism to the challenge phase, it is essential for us to accept the challenge and revive. We need to consider the safety of our guests, and by doing this, we can achieve their trust and let them know that we care them. This pandemic has brought the whole world together. It is helping everyone appreciate things that we may otherwise take for granted. So the positive side of this changes is that all the minute effort that we put in for the safety and comfort of our customer will bring satisfaction and appreciation. The pandemic offers us an opportunity to hit the reset button to make the tourism sector a sustainable engine for economic growth and development.
A very good afternoon to my fellow students, guest observer Mr. Soni Somarajan, and our dear faculty. So, my name is Aditya Bharat. I am currently pursuing my second year BSc in Hospitality and Hotel Administration in IHMCT Thiruvananthapuram. And today I'll be talking to you about, the various effects that, COVID-19, as we all know, has taken a big part away from our lives, the normal things that we used to do, right? So I'll be talking to you all about how it has affected our tourism and hospitality industry and what are some of the methods that that we are implementing to bring about change and get things back to normal. Even though it will never be say perhaps completely normal, we are trying to adapt and improvise and overcome all the difficulties that the industries are facing. So let me go ahead and tell you what are the few things that we could probably do to change, and the few things that I myself have seen in some of the places that I've been visiting, right? So during COVID-19, right, as you might have seen, you've not been allowed to go to many places, the restaurants have been shut, and everybody is running among scared, they're trying to sort things out, but yeah, it's going to take some time. So some of the things that I've observed in a few of the hotels here in Bangalore, for example, one of them being the Hilton Embassy Golf Links, right? So they have implemented certain changes that is ensuring the safety of the guest as well as personalized experience. It might not be as that personalized as before, but yeah, they are getting there. So right, increased hygiene standards. So before there was no temperature checks and sanitization of your car, maybe your luggage, your hands, but nowadays it's like from when you enter the hotel, even from your boots to your gloves, your car keys, the card that you give, everything is sanitized. And yeah, safety certifications. So let's talk about safety certifications, right? So some of these hotels, right, they have these posters and certificates saying, okay, we have a very safe environment that allows the guest for you to have a very amazing stay without being worried of contracting any infections, as they are taking so many precautions. Like before, as you might have seen, there might have not been that much of cleaning in general areas, but right now it's been done on a almost like a daily basis, and each guest room, it's been going through so much extensive like cleaning, like maybe cleaning the linen, maybe they're using disposable linen, and they're using ULV purifiers, and they're not letting out the rooms for a new guest for almost 72 hours, so that the in case there is a virus, it dies down. Let's talk about how it's affected the industry per se. So it's like India is a very robust country. It has a lot of different cultures and spots. So we have a lot of foreign tourists over here. To be approximately we get almost around 11 million foreign tourists every year. And right now, because of this, in the past few 6 months, we've been losing out on a lot of revenue. I think almost 70 to 80% of the revenue that we make in India is based off on tourism and the things that are attached to it, like small businesses and things. So a lot of people are being hit hard by this. And what we could do right now is maybe like, see, now that international tourism is like not much of an option. Like there are so many restrictions and the flights are like not allowed to take off, and international travel is not being advised, as it's the virus is spreading basically through travel, right? So a lot of tourists to travel, they are getting hesitant and things like that. So what we could do is promote domestic travel, promote the sites around our country, and but also with a very safe and clean environment for them. Maybe more personalized taxis and maybe more personalized rooms and personalized seating in the restaurants and all things like that. And even the restaurants are changing nowadays. Like instead of the buffet system, they're trying to adapt more of to the a la carte system and things like that. So restaurant reconfiguration, we're talking about that, right? So restaurant reconfiguration, when we talk about that, what do we mean reconfigure? You don't mean like we reconfigure the theme and things like that. That could also be done. But in terms of safety and, protocol aspects we're talking about. So a lot of restaurants, they wear mask shields, and there's no more menus, physical menus as we used to have before on the tables. There's no more physical menus. It's all done through an app almost now, like many of the places. So yeah, that's a better thing. But doing all these things, right, are trying to adjust to the new normal. We are almost like losing out on that human touch. So how do we stay more interactive to the guest, and try to give them a more joyful and personalized experience? So yeah, you can ask them their wants and what they would like in their rooms, and how to personalize it way before they come in. Altered lobby facilities and the room designs, all that. And it's like almost nowadays it's being followed, like there should be no contact, like even at the front desks. The one of the most important and the first places where you enter a hotel, it's being almost made sure that there is no contact with there's no physical contact, maybe signing the documents or giving your card. It's all done through online now. It's all done through a tab, which is also kept sanitized, and they're keeping it more personalized by providing out free masks and sanitizers every possible place, like public areas near the elevators, restrooms, and the public areas are being cleaned like spot on with medical grade sanitizers and cleaners and things like that. So delivery reliance, when we come to delivery and food industry like say Swiggy and Zomato, those are the industries which are thriving right now, because many people, they don't want to go to restaurants even though they're slowly being opened and things. They don't want to go to restaurants, and they don't want to take that risk of maybe you'll get COVID. That fear has been instilled upon every one of us, right? So yeah, these industries are they're picking up the Swiggy and the online ordering, Zomato and things like that. So what hotels are trying to do right now, like suppose for Hilton in Bangalore and ITC and Taj, what they've done is, since they don't have any accommodation right now, they're trying to make revenue based on the restaurant. But at the same time, people, they can't come to the restaurants and dine in this situation. So what these, five-star and these amazing hotels, what they've started doing is, they've started home delivery and things like that. So that is also a game changer. So in the long term, what can we do to have a better crisis management? Basically, the industry has been hit very hard right now. Almost 20 million job losses in India itself, right? So people are opting for more technological, what do I say for that? Or technological or features, or maybe technological alternatives, rather than or having staff do this, because maybe like people are afraid of getting the virus and things like that. And also technology, sometimes maybe, yeah, you can say a machine works more efficiently, but at the same time it does not give a very personalized experience. So yeah, people are trying to merge the two, have technology at the same time, have it convenient, try to cut the costs, have everything in order, at the same time try to give you a very personalized experience. And they're trying to get some medical tourism done. So there's this one unique thing that I read about this one of these hotels, right? Let me just tell you about that. So a great example of this unique property here, right? I just looked up this on online. Is the Le Bijou Hotel in Switzerland. They offered a quarantine stay, right? A quarantine stay of 14 days for those who have contracted the coronavirus, with proper medical staff and all the care at a hotel. So can you imagine that? That's like a very new concept. A hotel trying to take care of you when you're feeling low. It's like a very homely place, you could say. So all these things are some of the few changes that are trying to be made. And social distancing norms, and airlines are they're giving out a more longer validity for tickets, and travel agents, they're, rather than trying to compete with each other, now people are they're trying to collaborate, so that both of them can survive and thrive. So one of the first phases that we have to talk about the travel industry, right? Because it's one of the industries that always get hit the hardest during any pandemic, because as we know, traveling and contacting people contracts diseases and viruses for sure, yeah. But what we need to keep in mind is, we need to promote people to step out more, and show them that it's okay, it's all right to come out, because we have these cleanliness standards, and there's all these norms are being followed. There's nothing to worry about. So yeah, I think that's about it that I'll be talking to you all about today, about this topic. Sorry, I don't have that much time, and thank you for listening. I hope everybody somewhat got made a little bit of sense out of whatever was told to you guys today, and I hope you could make something out of it. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I loved the fact that this presentation introduced me to a destination I wasn't aware of, Elapedica. Loved the background ambience used for this part of the presentation. Tourism is an experience, and one must use the power of some of the five senses to create an impression in a potential visitor. This we must keep in mind. Combined with Goa, the facts presented on the chief features of each destination was impeccably done. Of course, I wish pictures of each chief attraction mentioned in the Goa part was shown at the same time to improve the narrative. I loved the confidence of the presenter, in fact both the parts. However, thought must be given to the background you choose to present. Chief thing is to pace your narration with highs and lows to inspire the audience to visit the place. I hadn't known about Sweetwater Lake in Goa, so that was new information for me. Well done. In the third part, when we speak of innovative measures taken by various destinations to revive tourism, I felt there was a good introduction by the presenters. Good balance of facts, hope, mixed with a guarded optimism. I loved that talk. It's important to inform a potential visitor of the precautions that a hotel or resort is taking to safeguard them. Loved the aspect of human touch in this regard. And that example of the Switzerland hotel and its quarantine stay, very informative to me. Presenters should give a thought of how creative they can make their visuals while speaking. For your experience, for your first experience that this must be, job well carried out is what I think. Room for improvements, definitely there. Use the power of human smile. Ultimately, after this presentation, do I want to visit the destinations? Yes, please. Did I learn about innovative measures? Yes, I did. Well done.
Good afternoon to one and all present over here. My name is Urbi Banerjee and I am representing my house, Falcons, on the topic An Unexplored Destination Near Me under the event that our college, IHMCT Kovalam, has organized on the eve of the World Tourism Day. As we all know, we celebrate World Tourism Day on 27th of September every year since 1980, led by United Nations World Tourism Organization. The main purpose to celebrate World Tourism Day is to raise the awareness among the global community of tourism's social, cultural, political, and economic value. Now, coming to the topic, I will start off by saying that I live in Kolkata, West Bengal, which is the sweetest part of India. Bengal is known for its rich heritage, culture, festivals, history, and of course, food. Nearly about 2 hours drive from Kolkata, there is a place called Itachuna, which still people doesn't know about. The famous attraction of this place is Itachuna Rajbari, which is basically a palace from 18th century, which is now serving as a hotel or a homestay. This 18th century palace was built by the ancestors of Sri Shafullo Narayan Kundu in 1766. It is a private property. I will attach some of the pictures of the Rajbari. People can visit this place for a weekend getaway, but entry to this place is strictly restricted to prior booking or permission to ensure the safety, security, and the privacy of the people living inside the Rajbari. This house is in the village, which is surrounded by the water bodies, plants, and a lots of greenery, which we usually doesn't find in our concrete lifestyle. They have an efficient team of pest control to ensure the rooms are completely safe. They also have a guide on request who can help in experiencing the real aura of this palace. Guest health is very important to them, so there is a 24-hour doctor available in the Rajbari. Guests can book the events in advance which they want to celebrate in the Rajbari. An authentic rural music of Bengal is known as Baul Shongit, which you can experience on a evening on request. Aroti at the temple takes place every evening, which is worth watching. Parking facility is also there inside the Rajbari. People can use free Wi-Fi. Pets are strictly prohibited there. They have an interesting line which I want to read out. This is our home. You are our guest. You are our God. Our God doesn't scream. Scream, I will spell SCREAM. Every word has a meaning. S stands for smoking in public. C, consume alcohol in public. R, remove anything from the home. E, embarrass anybody in any way. A, allow any kind of unpleasantness. M, make our home disorderly. Instead, our God helps us to smile. I will again read out SMILE. S stands for serve him better. M, make everybody happy. I, invite him home always forever. L, learn from our mistakes. E, encourage our team and enlighten our soul. As it is a village side, electricity is an issue. They do have geyser and air condition in the homestay, but if there is no electricity but you still want hot water, they will supply the hot water in buckets because guest satisfaction is their ultimate motto. The Rajbari is very old and the walls of the Rajbari are so thick that you will not feel hot in the summer. They like to maintain a peaceful environment and do not entertain uncleanliness of the grounds. Now coming to the rooms, their rooms are very interesting. The names of the rooms have been given according to the relation with the people. I will classify the rooms a bit. For 15 to 20 people, they have a room for one-day trip which is known as Ananda Shobhagor. They have double bedroom which is AC. It's approx 4,800 plus tax. The non-AC room for 3 person are approx 3,500 plus tax. The suite room is 8,900 rupees plus tax. These rooms are named like Ma, Boro Ma, which is basically mother, then her mother, or father, father's brother, elder brother, or younger brother. Like that, they have named their rooms. There are small mud huts, kind of a room, which are very beautiful, and it's for 2 people. It is non-AC. They are approximately 2,000 plus tax. I will attach some of the pictures here. This place is a perfect blend of nature and modernity to unwind in a royal ambience. People can visit this place to connect to the nature, to sit under the starlight nights, and disconnect from a tight schedule of every day. The Heritage Homestay is one such initiative through which village tourism is promoted. I hope that you all had a nice tour with me in this Heritage Hotel, and I hope that everybody will come once and visit this place. I want to end here thanking all the teachers and principal sir to give me this opportunity to speak over here. Thank you and have a nice day.
Good afternoon, one and all present over here. My name is Avdesh Mishra and I am representing Falcons on the topic Innovative Measures Taken by Various Destinations to Revive Tourism in the COVID Scenario. As we all know that tourism industry has been hit very hard because of this pandemic, and this pandemic has affected the tourism industry a lot, and due to which the industry is not even functioned for a while, and it was a complete shut for the tourism industry. The tourism economy has been heavily hit by the coronavirus pandemic, as we all know, because the potential shock could range between 60 to 80% decline in international tourism. As we all know that tourism runs on the intake and output of the tourists coming from different countries to another country, or different states to another states. The movement of tourists to different states or different countries leads to tourism. And due to this pandemic, the tourism was affected that hard that no travel has happened in this time, as the government has put regulations on traveling. Still, the international tourism didn't start. Countries are taking measures to revive consideration on lifting travel restriction, restoring traveler confidence. Now, the countries, due to this pandemic, have started taking measures to revive and to start over with the tourism output and input from different countries, because tourism plays a very vital role in economy of different countries, which is a lot for few. So Union to open first. As we all know that European countries are very much into the tourism and they earn a lot of money from tourism. So European countries will be the first one to get open because of this, and their government and tourism industry have been working on it together. Tourism generates on an average 4.4% of GDP and 21.5% of service export for few countries. So there are many countries who are already dependent on tourism and their GDP works only on tourism. So for them it is very essential to come back to normal. And to come back to normal, there has been a proverb which has been used, which is as travel in the new normal. So now the countries and the people of country are taking COVID scenario as a new normal, and they have made up their mind to be with it and to face it and to work it out with it. So they are doing their best on working on it, and they are taking preventive measures to start over with the tourism, and they are taking up with the confidence of the tourists so that they are more confident to come to their country or their place without hesitating about their health. Adopt operation, protect employees, customer. This is the thing which has been taken into consideration by all the countries and all the states, that they have to adapt to new operations to take over the industry again and protect their employees too, because they are the one who are making revenue for them. If they are not protected, then there is no such thing as that they are protecting anything. So, and then comes to the customer. If the customer is not feeling safe or is not getting what he is paying for, then why will he come to that? And what about the confidence of them? That's why they have to adapt to new changes and protect their employees and customer to start again, which is a big deal to do, as there is a large amount of tourists who come to places and there is no record of them coming. Only their passports are the valid proof that they have came to a country. And for the domestic travel, there is now started, the states have now started with taking up the registration on entering the state. Implementing of touchless solutions, like in the resorts or you can say restaurants, there have been different things introduced like touchless solution, like they have to not touch the customer, or the staff has to not go to the customer and touch him. These are the things which are being introduced in India or many other countries. Enhanced sanitization designed to combat. So on every place there has been a enhancement in sanitization, like the sanitization process has been taken into consideration, and it has been a very vital and important role to be taken into consideration if you want to start over with the tourism as soon as possible. So promote health screening, provide health resources to customer. If we talk about a hotel, then the health screening has to be done and provide health resources to the customer in a essential pack. Like in hotels, when a guest check-ins, he has to be provided with a vital kit or health resource kit, which has to be given to him, and it will be free of cost for him, or the companies, if they want, they could charge the guests for them, and they could, but they have to take a care of what they are providing to them. Following best practices in food and beverages. Due to this pandemic, we all know that people are a bit scared to visit and have food at different places. So now onwards, the practice in food and beverage has to be more strict and it has to be more hygienic due to this pandemic. So as we talk about Japan, Japan spent around JPY 3.6 billion on the information of international travels and make the place more attractive. Like the sites of the Japanese place, which are for tourists, they are spending 3.6 billion on making them more attractive and worth visiting to the traveler. And they have been too much serious about the information and the past history of international travels, which they are taking into consideration. Now we talk about Ireland. Ireland has a proverb which is return to work safely protocol, which means for social distancing and cleaning of their belonging and nearby places. Ireland has this saying to work properly and invite the staff to come back to work, as they have started getting normal day by day. In Italy, there has been an extend up to end of July layoff to seasonal workers, making ordinary maintenance in the resorts and the restaurants nearby. Italy has been working on the making maintenance of the area and setting up new things like for screening of the tourists, and there has been health screening which has to be taken into consideration by Italy. So for that they have been into maintenance of the different places which are of tourist attraction. In Korea, tourism dispirited special employment support sector, providing 90% of annual leave allowance. In Korea, the government is providing the people who are in tourism industry 90% of annual leave allowance, as they will be paid in the leave which they take to enhance and to promote tourism in their country. In Norway, if we talk about Norway is a very good place for tourists to visit, and it has been seeing a great intake of tourists in few years. So the VAT rate is reduced from 12 to 8% in Norway, which was on the different places to visit, and it was on the resort, and it was on the stay, and it was on the food. But now it has been decreased to 8%. In Poland, a Q&A guide for traveler and tour In Poland, there has been a Q&A guide which has been introduced, and it is to be given to all the tourism industry people for asking them what all they need to change, because of which the tourists are hesitating to come and visit their places. Spain developed guideline Ministry of Labor and Social Economy. In those guidelines, there have been different things which are being introduced to the hotel industry and tourism industry, and in these guidelines there are different things which are to be introduced and now taken into consideration. The United Kingdom Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme grant the government 80% workers a wage on which they could earn and have their money of not working, because if they are suffering from coronavirus disease they could take their leave and they could not have any tension about the money to be invested. These are all the things which are into consideration by different set of countries. And for domestic travel, if we talk about, I have been visited Dehradun and Leh in this pandemic, and I tell you there has been a very good system made by our country for travel. They have been taking up all the necessary actions, they are taking the screenings, they are taking the test of pandemic before entering their state. So there has been a great change which has been seen in the tourism industry, and rapidly, slowly it has taken a great change, and it will surely begin within few time. Thank you so much.
To comment on this presentation, the introduction was pretty good by the anchor. The set of pictures at the beginning showcasing Bengal was quite useful. I felt that adding music, maybe Baul Sangeet as a background, would have been a good idea. Even said that, I think it gave a good idea about what the region could be to someone who is not very hasn't visited the place before. I have never heard of Itachuna, though I have lived in Bengal a long time back. Of course, I would like to know more about how to reach the place. That information, that would have been a good addition if that information was given. I like the aspect of how one can stay at Rajbari, the additional facilities to ensure safety, which was stated, is a reassuring fact. The fact that it is situated in a village and its limitations being stated was quite useful. Obviously, some information was required on the rooms of the hotel, which was given, but I felt that we may have had a chunk of information here that took up a good part of the presentations. These are probably points to be borne in mind for the future to get it much better. The presenter was steady, and of course, focus may be given to improving on the narration by modulating the voice and being more cheerful. Overall, the appeal of the relatively unknown destination worked for me, and it is indeed something I would consider if I travel to that part of the world, of course, in a COVID-free scenario. In the second part, I like the fact that Avdesh made it a point to remain cheerful, which made the information less boring and more palatable for someone listening. While the points are valid, providing a visual of the cardinal points would help to drive the homes better. The section on domestic tourism provided enough details. The visitor stipulations for safety by countries like Japan, Ireland, Italy, Norway, Spain, United Kingdom, as well as the welfare measures for the tourism industry was quite thought-provoking. The controls on VAT to improve traffic is a good information to have. Some of the things that India I think can surely follow from this. To search for all this information so elaborately and present to us is a job well done. This also means that cardinal changes are happening in the tourism industry, which gives not only hope for the future, but also we can think about how the industry can get back to its pre-COVID status. So that's hope there. All in all, good work by the teams. Well done.
Hi Sakshi,
Hi Akash, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Great. How's your lockdown going?
Everything is going fine. What about you?
It's kind of good.
I told you to call me to discuss about the event World Tourism Day.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So that's what I called you for.
So what
So
are you
what are we
planning it
planning to do?
for?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what we have
myself.
two topics.
Oh,
Which one do we choose?
unexplored because I guess innovative measures.
Huh. Yeah, I think this
uh,
would the first topic would be better. Huh?
Yeah,
But then what would we
unexplored.
do?
I have no clue.
Even I have no clue. We should have been in college, seriously. Like if we were in college, this would have been like so nice and we could have planned it so perfectly.
What I
Yeah.
visited Kovalam beach, and
Oh,
beach,
we used to
chakis,
go there
everything.
every day. We used to
Yes,
be there all the time.
I
Oh
used
my
to
god,
take tea
I
and go
really
and
miss
sit
Koval.
there, like
Yeah.
just very peaceful,
I
like
want to go to
lighthouse beach.
Puvar and all. I miss all the places. We used to go to the temple on Sundays, you remember?
Padmanaಭ
Padmanabha Swami
Swami.
Kshetra.
Yes.
Yeah, I really miss it.
Did
And
you hear about?
the most thing is the Mall of Travancore. We used to go there and watch
Yes, I
movies
used to go
all the
there and eat
time.
momos. Momos.
Yeah, yeah, that's the only place where we used to get momos. So, what about the topic? We are getting diverted.
I actually have been to a place called Ayamala Beach. Have you been there?
No, 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 no. Arimala Beach. No, I've not heard about it.
It's very famous among our localites, like people inside Trivandrum.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. I've not heard about it. So
Yes,
we can put
many
it as
of
an
our
unexplored
students
place,
don't. For students of
right?
ISM Kovalam,
Yeah, yeah, that is there. That is there. I don't think many of us know about that place. Even
yeah,
I'm
because
hearing it for the
most of
first
us
time.
not from Trivandrum, right? I am to from
Yeah,
Maharashtra.
yeah. Even though I've been to few places there, but I don't know about it. Tell me more about it.
Like one of my friend is actually from Trivandrum, took me there,
Okay,
and that
okay.
place is like very calm, less crowd. It's not touched by public or visitors much. Like how we go to Leela Beach and all, we see foreigners and all, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
same there. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
empty. You can see fishermen.
How do we go there?
It's like tucked in between Kovalam and Trivandrum. And if you're
Okay.
looking from the angle of going from Trivandrum, there is
Hmm.
this bus from East Fort itself. The
Hmm.
buses which come from Tampanur, Poover and all has a
Hmm.
stop in Arimala bus stop. There is a stop called Arimala
Okay.
bus stop. And the temple is just 100 meters away from the bus stop. So it's a very small walk which we have to take.
Hmm. That is
Yes.
nice.
Like Shiva temple is actually a famous temple there.
No, 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 no. I didn't know about it. Tell me more about it.
Right? What I have actually explored is that place conducts various pujas.
Okay.
Want to know about it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell. Sure. Of
There
course.
is
Why
this
wouldn't it?
puja called Uma Maheshwari Puja, which
Hmm.
happens for married couples. Then we have this Pradosham Puja, which like if we have done some sin, like if I was a Christian, I would have went to the church and confessed it and all. I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Shiva
yeah.
devotee. So people like me can go there and do this Pradosham Puja to wash off our sins.
Okay.
Really, this place, the temple is marvelous for the people who like pray Shiva from their heart.
Okay, okay, okay. What else?
Yes. But I actually am fond of the beach area. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the beach crowded, Vaise?
Not at all. That's the perk of that beach. You can just go and sit there in a peaceful way.
That is nice. That is actually nice.
Like people like me who don't like much crowds, literally crowds in all other beaches.
Yeah.
Then just go there and be peaceful, calm. It gives what we say a certain kind of satisfaction. Like I'm sitting in a place where there is no noise. I can be myself. I can
Hmm.
hear myself there. I can
Hmm.
really be very happy.
Okay, that is nice. When
Yeah.
when our college reopens, we'll definitely go there together.
Yes, we are
But then,
just
Sakshi,
gonna bump into that place. It's like a weekend
yeah,
getaway for us.
yeah. But then I was thinking the topic is explore a place near you, right? This is so not near us.
What should we do?
So, hey, where you live, by the way? You have I can see some coconut trees and all in your background. It looks
Currently,
pretty.
I am at Yelagiri Hill Stations, and I think you should see this
Oh my God,
marvelous
it's so
view which I
beautiful.
have from my terrace.
Oh, that is so nice. Even I stay at a place which is not very explored from. Wait, just a second. Let me peek out of the window. That's actually a farm
Oh,
near
so
my
much greenery.
I have an idea.
What
Since
idea?
yeah, since we have not explored much here, and not
Yes,
much of people know about these places. Let's
yes.
make a videos. Let's take up a lot of pictures and videos and combine it together.
That's a great idea. Like
Yeah.
people like me who are from Mumbai, extreme city, miss this greenery. And 7 months of lockdown, I am staying here. I have seen such beautiful things here. People who are in town should just come here and see that villages are the most beautiful thing you can see actually.
So now
Yeah,
let's take a lot of pictures and videos.
yeah, I'll just
Bye, bye, bye,
bye
bye.
bye.
मैं कदम कदम बदलता हूँ यहीं, ये जिंदगी बदलती ही नहीं है लफ्ज़ों की कमी। मैं इधर उधर फिसलता ही रहा, ये मन कभी संभलता ही नहीं, हूँ यादों में छुपा। ये शाम कैसे रंग सी है, उड़ती उतरती पतंग सी है, मैं कल की बाहों में हूँ बसा, ये वक्त भी मुझे भुला गया। मैं घड़ी घड़ी बेखबर ही था, क्या राज मेरे दिल में है छुपा, है नाम क्या मेरा। क्यों सवालों की लहर मुझे मिली, मैं घुल गया समय की आग थी, ये नज़्में भी घुल गई। ये रास्ते क्यों अलग से हैं, लिखते टहलते कलम से हैं, मैं कल की सांसों में हूँ छुपा, ये वक्त भी मुझे भुला गया। ये शाम कैसे रंग सी है, उड़ती उतरती पतंग सी है, मैं कल की बाहों में हूँ बसा, ये वक्त भी मुझे भुला, ये रास्ते क्यों अलग से हैं, लिखते टहलते।
Quite impossible to go out and explore now. That is why it is important that we stay at home and explore near our houses.
Tourism amidst the pandemic. What is tourism? Tourism is the travel for recreational, leisure, family or business purposes, usually of a limited duration. Tourism is commonly associated with the transnational travel but may also refer to another location within the same country. Temporary, short-term movement of people to destination outside their resident places. Tourism in India. India as a tourism destination, which is the toast of the world at the moment. Condé Nast ranked India among the top 10 tourist destinations. Travel and tourism industry is the second highest foreign exchange earner for India. Top 10 states visited by foreign tourists: Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Bihar, Karnataka, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra.
As we all know, India has widely been affected by COVID-19 and majorly it has affected our tourism sector. So we all might be wondering how tourism is gonna bounce back. We all know it might take 3 or 4 years, but India has already started bouncing back. It has taken some measures like virtual tourism. We all might be wondering, what is virtual tourism? Virtual tourism is basically kind of tourism which offers us to sit at home and explore places in one tap, which is our phone. India has also organized Dekho Apna Desh webinars, which offers virtual safaris, tours, museum, art galleries. India has also planned to partnership with international universities in the Department of History and Architecture to promote virtual tourism worldwide. India has also organized live virtual religious tourism for international pilgrims and even our pilgrims. There will be live streaming of daily rituals like consider Tirupati, the morning pujas, the evening pujas, everything will be streamed live and we can just see in our phones or in any digital platform. And the basic thing is to maintain hygiene standards. Like India has planned to maintain hygiene standards, which has the Swachh Bharat ranking, and it has also started taking Swachh Surakshan surveys. So we just now saw how India is planning to bounce back. Now let's get into our domestic tourism. How Kerala is planning to bounce back. Kerala is God's own country. We love Kerala's tourism. We all would love to go and visit places in Kerala. So Kerala has come up with this 12-point action plan. Like rebuilding and repairing roads, launching aggressive market campaigns, awareness and sensitization campaign, digital marketing. Ibrahim George, the member of National Tourism Advisory Council, had said that we need to give up a message that tourism is safe and we have got back on track. Even activities in Kerala have been resumed, like Periyar Lake in Thekadi has started its boating services back. Kerala's employment percentage in tourism is almost 25%, and even 10% of Kerala's GDP is from tourism. So we just now saw how the beautiful destination Kerala has started reviving its tourism. So now let's move on to Goa, which is another beautiful tourist destination where you and me would love to go. The tourism department of Goa has allowed selected hotels to open up and welcome the guest. As we all know, due to COVID, hygiene and sanitization facilities are really important. So the hospitality services are making sure that it's done at its best. To visit Goa, there are some guidelines which are issued by Goa Tourism. Earlier, travelers had to carry COVID-19 negative certificate, which was tested within 2 days. If it was tested before 3 days also, it won't be allowed. And it is really mandatory when you get into Goa. And even if you test positive on the spot, you are supposed to go back, or mostly you are supposed to quarantine inside Goa. The Goa has tied up with various hotels, like it has allowed only particular selected hotels like Taj, Novotel, the O Hotel to get into action. Bookings in unapproved hotels which are not approved by tourism department will not be allowed. Before getting into Goa, getting into the hotel which we have reserved, we should fill up a self-declaration form. And when the travelers with negative COVID certificate do not have to go through the quarantine procedure. We can get to Goa by train or flights, but the train will stop in only particular stations like Madgaon, Thivim, and Vasco da Gama. What is travel bubble? It is also known as travel corridors and corona corridors. It's basically a partnership between two countries to allow tourism to open up their borders, and basically countries which have combated COVID-19, which controlled the COVID-19. So even our country, India, has planned to negotiate a deal with other countries regarding to opening up their borders. So travel bubble is introduced, but what about people? What about them? Like you and me, when we go out in public, we will be scared to go out because in our conscious mind we'll be thinking, what if I touch something, what if I get corona? So it is really important that the government of all the countries create a safe environment for tourism, and we have to ensure to establish that kind of confidence among the tourists that they can travel again, they can go back again. So that's what we have to do to revive tourism. It is a challenge to do that, but it's not impossible.
Next, we have a video of how Hilton Bangalore started their operation. Let's take a look at it.
Namaste. Welcome to Hilton Bengaluru Embassy Call Flings. I'm Cassandra, and I would like to take you through our health and safety preparations. Please follow me. Once you arrive, your footwear is sanitized. Hands are disinfected using the sanitizer provided, and temperature is checked. Your luggage also goes through a disinfection routine. Floor markers are used to ensure social distance is maintained while checking in. Sanitized pens are used for paperwork. We have extra masks and gloves available if you wish to use them. Thank you. Your key is sanitized before being handed out to you. We are doing everything possible to ensure you have a safe and healthy stay with us. All our common areas and touch points like door handles, elevators, and elevator buttons are sanitized at regular intervals using medical-grade sanitizers. There are hand sanitizers kept at various public areas for easy access. Your room is sanitized with immense attention to detail. All the electrical sockets, appliances, door handles, and fixtures are thoroughly disinfected. ULV misting is used to further sanitize the room. To further reduce the risk, rooms are allocated to new guests only after 72 hours of previous guest checkout. Every room is equipped with a hand sanitizer. While you stay with us, you have access to digital menus for in-room dining. Thank you. We follow contactless delivery for the food. Your room is made every second day unless you request otherwise, and there is no turn-down service. It is very safe to dine at any of our restaurants if you prefer to do so. After temperature check and hand sanitization, you are seated at your reserved table that follows social distancing norms, kept a minimum 6 feet away from other tables. The tables and chairs have been sanitized after every use. The buffets have sneeze guards, and social distancing norms are followed for the buffet. All our staff also undergo a rigorous sanitization routine when they arrive. Temperature checks, hand sanitization, footwear disinfection are performed upon entry. They always wear masks and gloves and work while maintaining social distance. If you use a hotel car, rest assured that your car has been thoroughly sanitized before your use. The driver is always wearing gloves and mask. There are extra masks and gloves with the driver if you wish to use them. We have been home to a few guests throughout the lockdown, taking care of them as family. We're open with full excitement, keeping in mind all the government and WHO's recommended safety and health guidelines. Looking forward to welcome you back.
We all saw how tourism got affected by COVID 19, how tourism is planning to bounce back, what are the measures which are taken by various government and various state to bounce back. So, as citizens, it's our responsibility to safeguard ourselves, to follow the instruction from government, to not gather much crowd, to not travel in groups, and etc. etc. For now, it's better we enjoy virtual tourism, which has been introduced by our country. So it's better we stay home, stay safe, and all of it will be over, and we all will be traveling back. But then too, it's a new normal. We have to live with COVID-19. So we need to take proper sanitization facilities. We need to assure that we maintain hygiene properly. Thank you.
Speaking about this presentation, I was happy to see Arimala Beach being featured, and yes, it is one of the little known places in Kovalam. What I liked about this particular presentation, the question and answer format was great, as well as the discussion format. What happened here is it became less academic and more of an experiential session. It could have easily fallen apart as an experiment, but somehow both the characters held it out until the end. Also, the presence of mind to go off the script and then circle back was good thinking, creative, I would say. Clear thought was given on how to reach the place when you were talking about Arimala Beach. That's very good. And the question of asking if you want to know more gave me the impression of a live hyperlink feature where the two-way conversation enables choices that unconsciously guides the listener to the destination in question. And then it goes to Yelagiri Hill Station, the beauty of villages et al. The picture-based approach here, including Golali in Bangalore with music, has an emotional approach. I loved Kuhat songs, and that was an amazing add-on. And turn of the climate is a sensorial delight to someone wanting to know a place better. The rain and then the turn of light, it was about new knowledge being gained, unforgettable, a human touch. Coming to the second part, tourism amidst the pandemic, the voiceover for the presentation of facts was a good approach. The sections on how India has planned for revival and the 12-point action plan by Kerala were quite useful. Choosing to elaborate on the bullet points is a welcome step. The aspect of travel bubble and Goa tourism guidelines for visitors were more elaborate. In fact, the section on the steps taken by hotels to maintain precautions in the COVID scenario and getting to know the novel measures by some of them was thoroughly illuminating. The use of the Hilton video made it easier to understand these measures. Very informative, this presentation is what I felt. Well done.
Good afternoon. I am Rutuja from third year, and today I'll be talking about some unexplored destinations in and around Maharashtra. When I came across this topic and read about it, I was delighted to present about this as our country is gifted with diverse tourist attractions, be it spiritually, traditionally, or ecologically. The topic led me to explore the geographical terrains of India, and I couldn't stop gazing the beauty of the place that I found. So, before I start with the presentation, I'd like to quote a line from the very famous poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I feel this line is a very near and dear to the topic I am going to address today, as it tells you how an unexplored path can lead you to a very beautiful destination. So, let's get started with the PPT. Maharashtra is a place with lush green forests, scenic lakes, majestic mountain peaks, mosaics of grasslands, tropical beaches, and vast stretches of wilderness. Here is a rundown of the most beautiful place I'm going to address today. The Sandan Valley, also called as the Valley of Shadows. Sandhan in Marathi, pronounced as Sandhan, means accumulated. So, this name of the valley literally means accumulated. It is named so because the water flowing through Sahyadri mountains rests in this valley. Let's talk about the location of the valley. Sandhan Valley is located near the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. Accessible from every corner of Maharashtra, this place can be visited through airways, railways, and roadways, the nearest airport being the Belgaum Airport. This easily accessible from every corner makes this place a very easy to go destination. Coming to the geographic location of the place. Well, Sandhan Valley was created because of a very old geographical fault line. This valley is almost 200 to 400 feet deep and 4 kilometers long and is situated in the very beautiful Ghats of Sahyadri. Isn't it interesting to find out there's something which is so beautiful between the mountains? This valley is a gem in itself. Also called the Canyon of Maharashtra, it depicts the rock formation as of the Great Canyon but with waterfalls around. My god, I'd really like to visit that place after this COVID situation. It is a great place for adventure lovers as it provides rappelling and trekking throughout the valley. There are many attractions in the valley, but the most famous being the Ratangad Fort. The trek, which starts from the base of the Sandhan village, leads to the Ratangad Fort. Ratangad Fort was the most favorite fort of Shivaji Maharaj, which he had won in a fight and was the most strongest fort. Well, there are even more attractions in the valley. It provides rappelling facilities, camping. Then it has a very majestic waterfall, and who can forget the Karoli Ghats? Well, Ghats are something that you can never forget. And in Maharashtra, when you travel through the Ghats, you actually get to see the most beautiful places. As we saw about Sandhan Valley being the unexplored destination, let's find out some interesting ways to encourage tourism in Sandhan Valley. To understand and strategize the promotion of our destination, we'll have to answer a few questions. Let's get to the first question. Why is Sandhan Valley least visited? Well, there can be many reasons why Sandhan Valley is the least visited. But I found out a few main reasons. First one being the disinterest of localites. Well, it is truly said that we least care of the places that we see usually. Sandhan Valley is a very beautiful place, but for people who are actually residing there, they see that place every day. So, why aren't they ready to promote such a beautiful place? Primarily, the local population is responsible for the promotion of a place. Then, why isn't Sandhan Valley localites promoting this place? The reason is they are not very much aware of what the valley has or what the valley has us to show. Secondly, Sahyadri range is gifted with many valleys, forts, forests, lakes, etc. So, small valleys like this one are usually neglected by the government as well as the visitors. But small places have a lot to offer sometimes. This place being an adventurous as well as risky landmark, it is mostly visited by professional trekkers and not families. Well, why is it risky? It is because Sandhan Valley is almost 400 feet deep, and coming here is not a good job without any safety measures. So, this valley is usually attended by professional trekkers and not families. Well, that's the point. Who would like to lose their family members when you're not equipped with safety equipments? Okay, for the second question, what we can do to popularize Sandan Valley? We just saw a few drawbacks of the place. So, what can we do to overcome all these? First of all, social media and other online platforms. When almost three-fourths of the youth population is using social media, this platform can be a very strong medium to popularize small places like Sandan Valley. How do you popularize? Well, when I was searching about this place, I came across like 5 to 6 videos of Sandan Valley which were posted on YouTube. Those were posted by some professional trekkers and not usually, normal people. They were professional trekkers who went on the top peak and they had photos of that place and all. So, social media can be a great platform when these people are posting online videos and photos about the same. We can share about that. We can, try to Google. Google has so much of information, but we sometimes lack to access all that. Second of all, we need to create awareness among the local population about the rich historic, geographic beauty of the place. Well, I could not tell you how beautiful this place is in words. One should actually go and visit Sandan Valley to know what this place offers. So, when the local population is aware, is told about the rich historic and geographic beauty of the place, that would lead to word of mouth publicity. That is, the localites would go and tell to their family members will tell to some friends and other families. This way, the word of mouth publicity would spread. Next, we could ask the Maharashtra government to take initiative to promote such small but beautiful and engaging places, and also the nearby cities can be made aware of the place. They can then use various tactics to popularize it in their own cities. The most important being bigger and widely popular hotel brands like Taj and many more, Marriott's. These all can set up hotels near the base of the valley, which in turn provides international publicity. Well, when I talk about adventure, why can't these brands or why can't any of us become an entrepreneur and set up a very engaging hotel near the base of the valley? Well, we are in 2020 and in coming years, I am sure we are going to have very, very different ideas of hotels coming up. So, why can't we find a different idea of setting up a hotel near the base of the valley? Well, I guess we all should think about it. To finish up, I'd like to finish with a quote by Saint Augustine. The world is a book, and for those who do not travel, they read only a page. Well, as we fight and overcome the COVID-19 pandemic, we should simultaneously keep promoting tourist attractions like Sandan Valley, which could help us earn revenue and fight the recession that we are facing right now. I am confident that all over India there are hundreds of hidden destinations. So let us all come together and explore the unexplored. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is innovative measures taken by various destinations to revive tourism in the COVID scenario. The world is facing an unprecedented global health, social, and economic emergency with the COVID-19 pandemic. Travel and tourism is among the most affected sectors, with airplanes on the ground, hotels closed, and travel restrictions put in place in virtually all countries around the world. In an unprecedented blow to the tourism sector, the COVID-19 pandemic has cut international tourist arrivals in the first quarter of 2020 to a fraction of what they were a year ago. Now we come to tourism in Asia and the Pacific. in Asia and the Pacific has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. International tourist arrivals fell by over 90% in many countries compared to last year, and the situation is likely to persist, with the United Nations World Tourism Organization forecasting a drop of up to 80% over the whole year. In the many countries where tourism is an important source of foreign exchange earnings, the sudden fall in demand is having severe economic and social consequences within and beyond the tourism sector. Two strategies are being tried to revive the sector in the short run, for promoting domestic tourism and using travel bubbles, an exclusive travel partnership among countries that have controlled the virus to allow tourism between them. Promoting domestic tourism. The Philippines, for example, invested $8.5 million in a domestic tourism campaign in early 2020. In Vietnam, domestic tourism shown a clear upward trend after the lockdown was eased. Across Asia and Pacific, in more than half of cases, domestic tourism has the potential to fully replace foreign visitors. For example, in Armenia, outbound tourists exceed the number of inbound foreign tourists by 30%. This may not be the case, however, in countries that depend heavily on tourism, which would still face gaps in demand even if they could fully mobilize domestic tourism. Domestic tourism probably cannot fully replace foreign tourists for other reasons as well. For example, some people might not want to travel at all for the fear of pandemic. Social distancing and other containment measures are required even for domestic tourism, making it difficult to operate at the maximum level. And overall demand for tourism has declined amid job losses and other loss of economic in the pandemic. Finally, a gap may exist between the demand of domestic travelers and the supply of available tourism services. Some countries have successfully attracted high-income travelers from abroad, but the number of domestic tourists that can afford such high-end services might be limited. Travel bubbles. These are agreements to open borders to nationals of a travel bubble partner country. Travel bubbles could be for business travelers only, or also include leisure travel. They often specify provisions on health protocols that need to be followed when leaving and entering the territory. Access can be reciprocal or only in one direction. They can be formed between two or more partners. The first travel bubble in Asia and the Pacific was established between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of Korea on May 1, 2020. The agreement is limited to business travelers who need to be invited by a company in the receiving country. Visitors need to monitor their health for 2 weeks and get tested for the virus 72 hours before departure from their home country. Upon arrival, they are tested again and quarantined until the results are obtained. The two countries are currently discussing expansion of this program. Travel bubbles are geared towards redirecting a substantial part of the partner countries' international travelers. For example, another travel bubble under negotiation is the Trans-Tasman travel bubble between Australia and New Zealand. Given the strong links between the two countries, the agreement is expected to boost tourism in both, as similar COVID-19 status argues for an agreement. However, a recent outbreak in the Australian state of Victoria has stalled negotiation. Other travel bubbles under negotiations aim to allow movement of cross-border commuters, Malaysia and Singapore, and tourists involving Australia, Fiji, and New Zealand. Most tourists in Fiji are from Australia. If Fiji opened to Australia, the gap left by international tourists that could not be filled by domestic tourism would fall from 84% to 44%, a significant reduction. For Thailand, the gap would shrink from 68% to 46% if it is open to PRC. For this to happen, we assume that the level of tourism would reach the pre-crisis level of 2018. Dubai reopens doors to tourists after long shutdown. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, Dubai has started allowing tourists to come into the city. Crucial for its economy, tourism seems to resume again in Dubai, with people arriving have to be negative or should take a test and self-isolate till results come. With a welcome passport sticker and coronavirus test on arrival, Dubai reopens its door to international visitors in the hope of reviving its tourism industry after nearly 4-month closure. But businesses are mainly betting on those already living in the gleaming desert city to energize its ailing economy and serve as a test run before weary foreigner holidaymakers return. A warm welcome to your second home, says the sticker applied to the passport at Dubai airport, where employees wear hazmat suit and vending machines offer personal protective equipment. Incoming tourists are required to present a negative test result taken within 4 days of the flight. If not, they can take the test on arrival, but must self isolate until they receive the all clear. Tourism has long been the lifeline of the glitzy Gulf Emirate, one of the 7 sheikdoms that make up the United Arab Emirates. High season starts in October when the scorching heat of the Gulf summer starts to dissipate. Dubai welcomed more than 16.7 million visitors last year, and before the pandemic crippled global travel, the aim had been to reach 20 million arrivals in 2020. Dubai sees its aggressive testing and sanitation campaign from hotels and malls to airports as playing a major role in its reopening. It was recently awarded a safe travel certification from the World Travel and Tourism Council, and it plans to offer COVID-19 testing to every arrival that doesn't provide a recent negative test result. Quarantine will only be required for those that test positive. Those travelers will need health insurance covering the virus or risk bearing the cost of the quarantine. Here are a list of countries that resumed tourism during the COVID-19 scenario: Austria, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Iceland, and Israel. And it also includes India. Indian tourism industry. India is a vast market for travel and tourism. It offers a heterogeneous portfolio of niche tourism products, which includes cruises, adventure, medical, wellness, sports, and various other types of tourism. India has been identified as a destination for sacred tourism for domestic and international tourists. In recent years, India has experienced exponential growth in travel and tourism aided by different kinds of travel. Ever since the first nationwide lockdown in March 2020, states shut their borders and tourism came to a standstill. However, there is a respite as in Unlock 2.0. Several states across India have lifted their restrictions to revive the economy. The below list talks about all these places and SOPs and guidelines issued by respective state governments and travel are bound to follow. We have also opened many of our tourist destinations like Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar, Humayun's Tomb, etc. But due to the fear of COVID and loss of jobs and economic problem, the number of tourists, whether domestic or international, has gone down drastically. Fewer than 300 people reserved tickets for the reopening of Taj Mahal. Before the pandemic, the Taj Mahal received up to 70,000 visitors a day. We'll come to Himachal Pradesh. The rules and guidelines for travel are as follows. Travelers must register themselves on COVID-19 e-pass provided by the Himachal government 48 hours before the visit. Carry a COVID-19 negative report issued not earlier than 72 hours. Arogya Setu app in mobile phones a must. 5 days of accommodation booking confirmation is compulsory. 5 major attractions in Himachal Pradesh are Mari, Shimla, Kufri, Chail, Dalhousie, Dharamshala, Chamba, and many more. Few other places in India include Uttarakhand, Goa, and Rajasthan. These also have a set of rules and guidelines for the travelers. The 5 key factors, however, in the overall travel scenario that will drive all the above trends will be safety. Both perception and reality will matter. Health. Government may introduce mandatory checks. Hygiene. There will be no compromise on this. Brands. Those that will stand for quality will win. Value. Good value for good money will be the new mantra. And now, as we say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Thank you.
In this presentation, let me talk about the first part. Here, Sandan Valley, or the Valley of Shadows, is introduced as an unknown destination, which I felt is a good point. It talks about the location, but it is important we add details of how to reach there and what modes of transport can be used to reach there. Pictures should always be used in a tourism presentation to maximize the impression on a person being introduced to the destination. In the aspect of how to encourage tourism in the region, the presentation highlights some right questions like why the place is not as much visible as it should be. Of course, it is suggested. We also try to provide some answers, not necessarily authoritative, but assumptions of your own as to the reasons this makes people think. Of course, both the quotes used in the presentation are personal favorites of mine and are related very well to tourism. So good marks for that. As it is a bit too short, this presentation, I would recommend building on this knowledge of Sandan Valley and making the presentation more elaborate, combining the text and pictures and narration into a single PowerPoint show, probably which is the best alternative while trying to introduce a new destination. It is also the reason why tourist bodies use the power of audio and video to get talking to everyone's experiential receivers. Coming to the second part of the presentation, let me tell you right away that there is good content here. I wish it could have been put together into a show. The same point about combining audio, video, and pictures is relevant here. In terms of innovative measures, I was happy to hear about travel bubbles, the concept of twinning countries that have least virus damage for the purposes of mutual tourism. Domestic travel has been thought of as an alternative. We know about that. But with a lot of countries now in community transmission mode and there being no sight of the end, there are two opinions about it. The section on COVID-related measures, the guidelines, the rules for visitors being, etc., being taken by states in India, and that particular part to promote tourism was very informative. I would definitely want to visit the Sandan Valley. Wish I knew more about it. All in all, good efforts by the team. Well done.